Tahoe Tiff without the Tahoes now. Her conflict of interest regarding her attorney has been exposed. Came up in the most recent Township of Thorton Board meeting. What got resolved? Let's get into it. Here we go. I remember watching this board meeting and listening to this board meeting when it happened live. Watched it on a live stream, and that's what we're going to watch. And this is from the Reality Check TV Chicago. They streamed this board meeting. Go ahead and give them a follow, subscribe, and then also was watching some other content, and Supermayor Tiffany Henyard has attorney conflict of interest. This video popped up from IMJ9Eve, another YouTuber who covers this topic. So I remember this conversation happening with the Township of Thornton Board, and they've got this attorney. Let me get my yellow deal in here. Yeah. So we've got this, the attorney sitting next to Tiff and somebody, and we're going to listen to the board meeting and how this unfolds. But I remember thinking, that's a really good question. Isn't this a conflict of interest? I mean, now Tiff not only has a criminal attorney, but she's got the attorney for the Township of Thornton, who is also representing her and Keith Freeman, who is under indictment for bankruptcy fraud, along with former Chief Lewis Lacey under indictment for bankruptcy fraud. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. So Tiff, she has definitely got a conflict of interest here, whether it's legal or whether it is a perception image. It's not good. It's not good. Let's watch the meeting. Here, let's watch the video.
Is there a motion and second?
I have discussion, please.
Okay, go ahead.
I know that you selected this attorney for these cases, but it came to my attention that this attorney represents you in a personal matter. And so I want to know, I just want to know, is that a conflict of interest?
So first of all, I didn't necessarily pick the attorney. He do represent myself, Keith Freeman, and other people as well is represented by this law firm. So we had to put it on here so that the person can go and represent us here at the township. So he don't just represent Tiffany Henyard, he represents everybody that they name. Anybody that got named is in here. So
I find it interesting that she is answering the question and the attorney is just trying to sit there and pretend he is not there. He's like looking straight forward. He won't look over at Tiff. He just wants to be anywhere but at this, at this Costco table, which is the Township of Thornton's board meeting. I mean, this guy can't look more uncomfortable, can he? No, I need to go somewhere, anywhere but here.
Well, us to see and go back and forth over legal help, the whole thing is to protect the township. That's what the township.
Okay, just the question was, is it a conflict of interest? That's my question.
No, you don't have a conflict of interest.
Attorney, can you,
So she starts to answer because she just answers everything and just figures her constituents are stupid and they'll believe her. She starts answering and then looks over at her attorney. Her attorney should be saying, he should be saying something. He should be giving her legal advice at this point. That's what attorneys do. Like, hey, maybe let me take this one over. Let me answer this one. But what does he do? Mum's the word. Just look straight forward. Keep my eyes on the prize, my focus. Yeah.
Is that a conflict of interest?
I want more with details.
So she asked the question, is that a conflict of interest? And literally hands the mic up to him. And he kind of looks at her and goes, and he's like, how can I dodge this one? I'm unfamiliar with the details. Don't really know. You're the attorney. You should know. This is why you're here. This is why you're at the meeting. So if he knew that it wasn't a conflict of interest, he would have immediately said that. He would have just popped off with that because that's what attorneys do. This in no way, shape, or form is a conflict of interest because of this, because of this. I mean, this law firm has to know that the optics on this are not good. So Tiff is she's getting put through the grinder, whether through the FBI, Township of Thornton, Village of Dalton. The pressure is on Tiff, and she's got some real legal issues. She's got not only criminal defense, but she's got other issues going on as well. So many people have sued, Village of Dalton, where she is the mayor.
Your content creator using my footage. Acknowledge that it's my footage, or I will strike your channel.
You don't turn your mic.
This is so indicative of how things are under Tiff. They're having this sidebar discussion right here between a supervisor or a trustee and the attorney, and Tiff is looking at him going, what are you doing? And they're not, this should be on mic because everybody in the room wants to know. We want to know, is this a conflict of interest? And I don't hear any denial by the attorney. I hear nothing as far as that goes. Yeah, I'm not really sure on the whole conflict. I don't really have that information. The one reason you're there is to answer these types of questions, to keep things on the up and up. But then again, why is he there? Why is he there? Well, we'll get to it in a little bit. Yeah, I don't really want to say anything. You see that? She handed him the mic, and he's like, "No, I don't really need this. I don't need to talk. I just need to be here to try and keep her ass out of prison." That's all she's there. That's all he's there for. She claims it's because that he is there to protect the Township of Thornton. And one of my thoughts is from who? From her, from Tiff, right?
Choose compassion. Please put the house rules in the chat.
Based on what you expressed, I think that's not where based on what you expressed.
You got something? Go ahead.
One thing I wanted to say is that the Derek Auto Law Firm did look over each retainer agreement. So they did look over it and make sure.
All right. So this guy pops up in meetings and tries to be the, one who has all the answers. And just watch what happens.
State law. They did, not Attorney Eric, but other people I just wanted.
But, were they aware of the other part?
Conflict of interest? No, I can't speak to that.
So I can't speak to the other conflict of interest. I wasn't aware that she had personal matters that she was that this attorney is hired to also defend. So this guy stands up and gives an answer, knowing full well he has no reason to be up there, even talking. I don't know. I'm not really sure. So, I mean, what are you even doing? Well, he's trying to help out Tiff and trying to help out Tiff's attorney. And it's not going well, right? Or actually, it's the Township of Thornton. Things are so convoluted in this community. It's wild. So they basically just sold him. Well, sit the F down if you don't know. I mean, specifically, this is an issue. This is a question of conflict of interest. The attorney is representing both Tiff and the Township of Thornton. What say you? Because now anything that Tiff touches is under scrutiny, right? So this guy standing up, I mean, it's just indicative of the blind leading the blind here. And the residents basically told him, well, sit the F down if you don't know. And I don't know about conflict of, well, that's the whole topic here, son. We're trying to get to this. And he's like, yeah, but I mean, they hired the attorneys and everything was on the up and up. Yeah. Was it conflict of interest? now that Tiff has hired them on a personal matter, whatever that might be, right?
Not out here without legal representation, you guys, what do you want to do? What do you want to do?
Okay, so Tiff is redirecting the issue away from conflict of interest attorney to what do you guys want to do with whatever motion they've got in front of them. They're trying to get some kind of vote together.
What do you guys want to do? You guys
Motion to table.
so you want to table it to win? But this is what I'm talking about. Why did y'all, if y'all had questions, like seriously, y'all don't know, seriously, no. If you had questions or concerns about this, why didn't y'all reach out to anybody? Y'all call the lawyers to draw up ordinances. Why didn't y'all ask the lawyers about legal opinion? Why would we get here and y'all don't even know what deadline this is currently right now? If he have to go report this week, y'all don't know any of that. And that's stuff you shouldn't play with. I just want to play with y'all. It's to represent Thornton Township. Thornton Township. Our job is to protect the township. All the personal stuff y'all gotta put to the side. Y'all have to do that. I would not be without his dry license. So would y'all like to approve this individual for the case?
Look at the attorney.
So is there any way the attorney can advise if there's time sensitive matters, or do you know the answer to that question?
I don't know when it's due. I know it is a deadline on it. When they give you papers, it's a deadline on it. Well, it was a deadline way a week ago when y'all had it on y'all special meeting. So I know because y'all ain't been paid. So we had to put it on the Twitter. So we did what we got.
I think I would say the table that you can come back maybe in 2 days.
Well, just so y'all know, like the other one, y'all just keep popping up meetings, like people don't have personal lives. This is our second meeting. I had a special meeting 4 days ago, now we had a regular meeting. Why would we take something that's got to do with Thornton Township? The whole thing is to protect Thornton Township. Y'all too busy making it about Tiffany and not protecting Thornton Township, when that person basically
Protecting Township of Thornton from who? Literally, from who? I mean, that's why this guy is here, right? Ostensibly to protect the Township of Thornton. From what? Yeah, and everybody's like, from you, Tiff.
covers
Supermayor.
everybody. I'm not the only individual. It covers every single person. And as Barbara Hunt just told y'all, what he said? Delgado have looked over this already. If Delgado looked over it already, what are we doing? He looked over it. So it would be on the agenda. So what would y'all like to do?
I think we just, I mean, you said it's not back, and I think we should be able to come back and
So y'all just want to table it. So y'all don't care whatever legal stuff we got going on. It is because if y'all care or y'all saw the agenda, y'all could have called and asked questions about stuff. This is what I'm talking about. We get to board meetings every single time. We don't have no deal. I got a question. The question got nothing before we got here. When you go watch other people's board meetings.
So for those of you who haven't been following this story, I'm going to give a super quick, what's happening here is that the township supervisors or the representatives, the trustees, they continually have these questions for Tiff, and Tiff just basically stonewalls them and says, you should ask them here. You should have asked this person at the city hall, whatever. You should have asked that. So you've got this back and forth on all of these issues. And the trustees just want to know, hey, you got any receipts for this? I mean, they want to know where their money is going, but they are told that they need to just vote on it right now because you guys are wasting time. So Tiff gets around the fact that so many of her spending decisions have landed not only Village of Dalton, but Township of Thornton now by default in hot water. Township of Thornton does not appear to have the financial issues, let's say, that Village of Dalton does. because Tiff doesn't have the power to run things in Township of Thornton like she does in as the dictator of Dalton.
We're willing to listen to it right now if you have information.
Of course I was. Why would I have information? She asked the lawyer. Ask the lawyer.
You're asking us to vote
Why
on
you
something
don't
you're
have
saying
it?
is important.
Why you
You're
don't
not
have
giving us
it?
any
Because I don't know the dates right now. I don't know the dates. It's for a lawyer to protect the township.
So when are the deadlines?
So if you wanted to know that, y'all should have asked before we got here, and y'all didn't.
Tell us right now.
Y'all get here and we didn't
Discuss. Tell us right now.
He said there was no easy way to find it out right at this moment. So, all right, motion is second. Y'all have a meeting so wrong. So wrong. Trustee Jones.
Trustee Carlisle? Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Gray Everett?
She said no, and I said no.
Supervisor Henyard?
Look at this guy.
A board is to protect the township, guys. No matter what people feel about someone, what someone's opinion is, you always protect the house. But anyway, next on the agenda is.
So, like that, the issue, whatever it was tabled, and you always got to protect the house. You know, I think in the Village of Dalton, they would probably say otherwise. Now, whether or not this is an actual conflict of interest, who's gonna hold them accountable for that? There are so many other things going on. When you've got an FBI probe, when you've got a police chief in Village of Dalton that is, has been tossed out, and then he gets rehired by Tiff, the supermayor. I mean, you've got some crazy shenanigans going on that are probably way higher in the overall importance of not only running Village of Dalton, but Township of Thornton, which Tiff is, has a senior position in both communities. There's a ton of other issues, especially in Dalton, that are greater than her perceived conflict of interest with the attorney. But this is just one more of those things where the perception is terrible. It's like, hey, we're just asking you a simple question. We've got this attorney here what's in the back of everybody's mind that's sitting in this meeting. They are thinking, are we paying for this attorney as the Township of Thornton residents for him to basically be here to defend you, Tiff? Or like you're saying, which they don't believe anything that Tiff says at this point in time, the supermayor has zero credibility. She has zero. She is losing her power structure as I'm talking right now. It's just slowly eroding away. So the constituents of Township of Thornton, they are thinking in the back of their heads, are we funding her own attorney to be here to defend her? Or like she says, which we don't believe her at all, is he here to, be an advocate, a legal advocate for the Township of Thornton? Because damn well Township of Thornton's probably footing the bill. And that's another big issue is how many attorneys is Tiff paying right now? Personally, supposedly, personally. And you got a defense attorney, and that comes in a 2-pack, apparently. She's had the 2-pack show up at multiple events, right? Meaning the senior attorney and then the junior attorney. And then we've got this Delgado law firm. I thought the Delgado law firm, Delgaldo, I think, law firm, I thought they quit working for the Village of Dalton. I think they quit. I mean, there's all this attorney drama because they weren't getting paid. Shocking. Attorney doesn't get paid. They pull out of a case. Yeah. And I think there are over 30 lawsuits happening right now. And we just had another lawsuit where Village of Dalton is suing Chief Lacey, former Deputy Chief Lacey of the Dalton Police Department, for all the overtime he assigned to it, he gave himself and allowed payment to run through the Village of Dalton, $212,000 worth of overtime for him basically doing the job that he was, not elected to do, but it was assigned to do. And then his contract doesn't allow for overtime payment, but he just gave it to himself anyway. And things are so convoluted in the Village of Dalton as far as transparency goes. Who's on first? The whole nobody knows what's going on. You've literally got the blind leading the blind as far as money goes, because they don't have dedicated people and a system in place, and it allows for Tiff and her cohorts to come in and basically just fleece the village of millions of dollars. So all of this is coming after a couple of weeks after former Mayor of Chicago, Lori Lightfoot, former prosecutor, came in with her findings. The Village of Dalton hired her at $400 an hour, and they capped it, I think, at a $50,000 cap. Get done what you can for us, bring us back your findings. And she found out that Village of Dalton is upside down, millions and millions of dollars. Their budget is absolutely out of whack. I mean, accounts that had 2 million now have 3,500, the kind of numbers like that. There's been 589 checks that were signed, sealed, but not delivered to the individual vendors who were owed those funds. There's 589 checks at the time of Mayor Lightfoot's report that totaled, I think, $6.1 million. So that's how you absolutely cook the books in a village, is that you got all this money and you're paying out to your cronies like Deputy Chief Lacey, who's fired, unfired, who knows what, that kind of thing. Overtime for him, overtime for his employees working for him. And when you've got all these expenses coming around and you don't have the ability to fund them, well, hey, the legit checks, let's just not send those out. Yeah, we got your check. We got your check. And it's sitting somewhere on a desk somewhere, right? I mean, it's sitting in a file folder somewhere. 589 checks. That's a crap ton of paperwork. Think about that. $6.1 million. And this is a village that has income coming to it of about $2 million a month. Got a budget. They've got a budget of around $30 million. They've got income, meaning the money from tax revenue and everything else, of about $24 million. So about $2 million a month. And you've got checks that total $6.1 million that haven't been sent out. I mean, massive, massive financial issues. And so now Township of Thornton is looking at all of this going on and is saying to themselves, are we paying for her attorney? Why is the attorney here? And literally in the Village of Dalton, Tiff last board meeting had a defense attorney, 2 of them, show up at the meeting and sit next to her, and with no explanation, no nothing. So whether or not there is a conflict of interest here, it certainly seems like that is the case. I mean, all things would lead one to believe, yeah, there's probably some kind of conflict of interest. Any which way you cut it, the perception is terrible for Tiff. The perception is Tiff. All right, he's representing you, but he's also representing the township, and you have been fleecing not only the township, but you've also been fleecing Village of Dalton. Who's protecting who here? That's what the constituents are thinking. So one way or the other, that law firm needs to recuse itself from representing somebody. That would be my opinion. Again, I am not an attorney, but I know more than the guy who got up and made the little speech. They said it was fine. Well, what about the conflict of interest with her hiring them as her personal attorney? Yeah, I don't know anything about that. I mean, the guy just sounded like a moron, right? I mean, what's the point of getting up? And you could see the big smile on his face when they asked him, what about the conflict of interest? I don't know. Why are you looking at me? And then he just sat his ass down. That's how these whole things go, right? You've just got people who don't really know that pop off, like Tiff, on all of these issues. And the attorney just sits there and goes, wish I was someplace else because this is awkward. God, this isn't why I went to law school. I don't want to be sitting next to Tiff Tiff. But you are, and you got to deal with that. So will some shakeup happen with Tiff Tiff's attorneys? You betcha, one way or the other, because they already have. You've already had a law firm basically quit because of non-payment, because Village of Dalton ain't got no money. Yeah. All right. Well, there's that. Okay. That's it for me on this one. Thanks so much for being here. I'd love to have you subscribe, do all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.